Welcome to episode 9 of the Let's Be Honest podcast with myself, Peter, Paul, and Stuart. How are we?
Hello.
Howdy.
It's good to see Banford up fresh at this time of the day, isn't it? With the hair done. Did you see the state of him last week?
I've been up for hours.
Oh, what time did you get out of bed up?
Like probably 3 hours ago.
Oh, wow.
Hang on. Were you not on the way to the shop?
Yeah, I was just jumping into the car actually to go and return an I was going to say an Amazon package and get some groceries. And your kind invitation popped up, Pistol.
Yep.
I thought it was 10 o'clock, you see, so that's why I waited to half and then I buggered off.
Speaking of packages, I'm a regular visit now to the Vivo down the street because... Are you on Vinted? Have you heard of Vinted?
Yes, I have, but I'm not on it.
No.
My partner is just obsessed with Vinted now, and...
Is this like a new version of eBay?
Yeah. But it's like people haggle you for the price then, so the price you put up is never the price that you get usually, because people then try and haggle.
I suppose you have to sell a load of stuff to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, but it's just, I feel for the guy. The guy in the shop does not want this happening. So I mean, he's the one guy in the shop with the one worker, and you go in with like 5 packages, and then by the time you're on your third package, there's a queue behind you, and it's just so awkward because he can't scan, he can't use his phone either, so you have to call every single serial number out to him for him to then get the label, for him to put it on the package, scan it, send you an email, and then times 5.
And what is she sending?
At the minute, it's old baby clothes and baby toys. Used, yeah.
So somebody's paying like £3 for a diaper.
Mm-hmm.
Not a diaper.
Well, not a diaper, but like, yeah.
Well, what do you call them? Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's a nap, like a baby grow thing.
Yeah.
And somebody's paying £3 for that.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and how much is the postage?
Don't know, £1 maybe. Something.
Right, so she's
£1.40.
coming out with about £1.50
Mm-hmm.
after running back and forth. That seems good business, Pistol.
Yeah.
But you see, women, like no offense to anybody, I can't imagine any women listen to this, but they love a bargain. Like, women will spend an hour or hours in somewhere like a TK Maxx just trying to root through to find that hidden treasure, where that, to me, or most sane men, is a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember talking to someone not so long ago who just had a baby, and they spent something like £1,800 on the pram, right? Which is madness.
Mm-hmm.
And the same pram reduced because it was the older model or something like that, was like £700.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently it wasn't the right colour. So the £1,800 had to be spent. And there was also a quote made as well that I wouldn't dress, I don't mean me personally, but I wouldn't dress my baby in second-hand clothes.
I've heard loads of people say that about clothes and prams and anything. Everything with babies has to be brand new. Maybe they're not as fussy when it comes to the next one, but first one, yeah.
That's what I was going to say. The first one, I think that's the thing. Whereas my sister is now having a second, and it's very much like just whatever it is about.
But to pick up on something you said for a second when you talked about, selling diapers online, I was thinking there's a business for me just filling diapers all day long and selling them.
I used to sell quite a bit on eBay way back in the day. And, anything at all, people would have bought anything. But eBay fees now are just completely out of control. They're just ridiculous. And then the amount of empty boxes that I used to get, people trying to scam you, and then the hassle of going back and you tell eBay, oh, the box arrived empty, and they sort of make it out, aye, right, dead on.
That happened to you?
Yeah. Friend of mine ordered me back for Christmas a set of earpods, and she received a charger, a wall plug charger thing, like one of those old really brick chargers that you'd plug into an old phone, and that's what she received in the packet. And there's such the carry on of trying to get the money back and trying to get a refund and them not believing her and all this sort of business.
Do you think, though, at eBay's height, we as people were more inclined to trust the internet, but whereas now we're being bombarded left, right, and centre with phone calls and emails and scams, and you can see people now trying to scam you left, right. Somebody just rang me like 10 minutes ago saying, following up on your inquiry, you left your details about stock market trading. No, I didn't. Well, you did. No, I didn't. Obviously, I've done something, and that company has sold on my contact details.
I got a call yesterday too that I was going to be arrested. that the bailiffs are coming to your door now, and it was an automated, computerized voice.
Uh-huh.
If you don't ring this number now, the bailiffs will be arresting you at your home.
Uh-huh.
You must call now.
Did you
They think you're stupid.
did you get the glasses ready to go to the door?
Oh, did they think you're bloody stupid?
I think I've said before, and I'm just saying it how it is. My dad is fairly technically incompetent, and he's not really overly aware of when it comes to things like direct debits, what he's paying out, and he just lives his life. And he'd said for a while he kept meaning to contact Sky to try and haggle them down to a lower deal. And one day out of the blue, this guy from Sky rang him to try and upsell him something, and my dad jumped on and tried to, counteract. But because my dad's knowledge of it is so lacking and so vague, and technically he's so, I want to use a nicer word than useless, that the guy from Sky actually said, "Listen, I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to terminate the call."
Right, I want to play a voice note that we've got. Okay, this was on our discussion of we were talking about a certain pizza chain and local pizza chains and all the rest of it.
Here, can I stop you there just before
Uh,
you start that?
yep, yep.
Did you see the thing this morning about how many fast food restaurants are closing down?
No.
Right? In the States, there's like 52 Pizza Hut outlets closing, 100 and something Red Lobsters, and 150 other IHOPs and all this, because people now apparently are not taking on fast food. Wonder why that is.
Well, there is a general. I mean, people. I believe that the rise in popularity of non-alcoholic beers is through the roof. Like people
Mhm.
are just trying to be a bit more healthy.
You drink a non-alcoholic beer?
Well, sure, it's crazy now. You go into a bar now, and there seems to be more non-alcoholic beer on tap than actual proper beer.
I had an non-alcoholic beer 2 days
Oh, you
ago.
can nearly sell
I,
pistol.
I had an alcoholic one before this. No, it tastes exactly the same. You wouldn't know the difference.
I think it
No, I
depends.
disagree. I disagree.
The Guinness
Well,
one's good, but the likes of the Heineken one,
Heineken's
it's a bit
awful.
the
watered
Heineken one,
down.
the
Yeah.
Peroni one's good. I had the Peroni.
Okay.
Peroni one's quite good.
If you're not a big drinker, maybe the occasional beer on a nice warm sunny day, if you just like the cool refreshing taste of it, it doesn't necessarily need to be alcoholic.
That's like making an advertisement there. The cool, refreshing taste. Rockshore.
I went very orange or something. My camera's made me very orange. Am I very orange looking?
Yeah, I think a dye's running out of that hair pistol.
I think has the light gone off?
There's a sun shining in through the window here now,
Look,
and
people listening don't care.
I just look a wee bit weird.
People listening don't care, pistol. It's a
I look very
podcast.
ginger or something today.
He is.
I don't know.
He is ginger.
Between the shaving of the head, I think you're going to pop up next week completely different.
Do you know, before I play this voice note, which we'll get around to, tomorrow, I'm going to put this on record. I think I'm just going to get rid of the whole lot.
I think you're wrong, Pistol.
No, I just think...
Like all your hair.
See, we were speaking. We had a wedding last night, and in the band, this I wouldn't say the style in the band now, but a lot of them have just shaved their head and just got rid of it. Just got rid of the remaining hair that's there.
You're easily influenced.
I know that, but I am convinced I have like ADHD or something. But do you ever get like the feeling you just need to do something and just get rid of it, like a Britney, just get rid of it?
Sometimes I look at my dick and think that.
Here's a question, Bamford. Do you shave around your dick and your balls? Do you shave all that?
Trim.
Tidy.
Sometimes I'll carve the word "or."
Fuck. I'm seriously
Does
worried
this need
about
to be
you.
public knowledge?
I'm seriously worried about you. That Chinese I had in your house the other night, I'm glad I kept myself sat down in the chair.
Oh, should we tell the Chinese story?
I didn't
Before you-
understand. I seen that story, but I didn't understand what you meant by it. Did you get it for free?
Go ahead, Paul.
Well, we got it substantially reduced
Like
from
steak?
30 by a delivery driver who obviously couldn't add up
Right.
or take away.
I can't assume, but my impression of him was, well, firstly, I was surprised he was able to find the house, but he seemed to be fond of maybe a wee bit of the devil's lettuce, a wee bit of the wacky backy.
Mm.
We do be.
So
Well, I didn't meet the guy. You met the guy, so I can't
I met
comment.
him about
All
3
I heard
times.
was
Yeah.
the telephone call, and he sounded to me as if he was Australian.
so
But
um,
he had a problem with a £20 note. He couldn't work it out.
Yeah.
so what did it come to?
Well, it came to 31.50, but he charged us 11.50.
Right?
So £20 was handed over, and £8.50 change was received.
Yeah. So I handed him 20 quid.
So-
No, because I had 20 quid in my wallet, and then I ordered. I think it was beef curry and rice, and then made the mistake of passing the phone to Paul. He ordered a main plus barbecue spare ribs. Then the total was 31.50. Then he arrives. I run downstairs. I said, how much? He says 31.50. I handed him 20. He hands me the bag. I said, stay right there. I'll go and get you some more. And he went, don't worry about it, and handed me 8.50 back.
That's very expensive. 31 quid for a Chinese. No,
Well, it was only two mains and a spare rib.
I feel that's quite expensive.
They do meals for one as a single man. I can tell you
But
that.
when you're out with two other people, you don't just order a meal for one.
You'll get a beef curry, rice, and a can of Coke for
It's
7.50.
like that day was your house. You were just going to order one beef curry and you me shut in the shirt.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
As you
I mean,
stood at the sink, dripping it all over you. You never even took a seat. You just stood and you reminded me of a bloody horse. You stood and stuck your head into the bloody curry bowl.
I will
and
say,
wash bag.
I've grown accustomed.
All
All right.
Do you want some of these? Do you want some of these chips, Bamford? Throw them in there. For Frank's sake!
Do you know
And then halfway through it, what does he do? What does he do
Oh.
then?
breaking news.
Breaking news! Breaking news!
What's the
boys.
breaking news?
Hold on!
McDonald's
Breaking
offer.
news! Junior doctors announce 5-day strike.
Oh, great.
There you go.
You have a doctor
Don't get sick in the next 5 days.
No, it's really bad to eat standing up for your
Of course
digestion.
it is.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've always been told you have to sit down. It's really because the food doesn't get time to digest because you're standing up.
I think because I spend so much time sitting that I now stand up for my meals.
Imagine you in a restaurant. Right. Speaking of food, let me play this voice note then.
Well, lads, how's it going? I was just listening to the podcast last week talking about sort of like famous pizza chains versus like traditional classic pizza places. I would always get a pizza whenever I can now. Sometimes you're relegated to the big chains on a late night out. But I'd always have my sober mind leaning towards get a good quality pizza at some nice Italian slot down the road. One thing that really put me off big chains was a friend of mine used to work for a big pizza chain company. We won't say who they are, but they do a nice deal on a Tuesday. And said that everybody there hated working there. He was a delivery driver for them. There was one day a bunch of them all decided to quit on the one day because the manager or the business, whatever way the shift was going, completely pissed them off. And they all decided to nut into, now individually, not together. They went back into the back room different times and did it. They all nutted into the garlic mayo tub. And that tub does be used for garlic dips for the equivalent of something like a month afterwards. So you never know what's going on with these places where the employees get treated like shit and then it gets taken out in the wrong way.
Here, that relates to again this morning. Did you see the guy in the Burger King who was urinating in the lettuce?
Oh,
Where'd you see that?
It was on Instagram this morning. Right? He was urinating in the lettuce.
Don't tell me that.
So-
It's Whopper Wednesday.
Right? But whoever it was able to trace him. They were able to trace him anyway. But he had been urinating in the lettuce for months.
oh, for God's sake.
Months.
But did you not say about fast food chains closing? I wonder why.
Well, there you go. Well, yeah. And you know, why is somebody urinating in the lettuce? Why is somebody there messing around with the pizzas? Is it poor pay? Is it bad conditions? Is it just people don't care?
Well, here, speaking about complaints, what is your view on people who complain about things that shouldn't be complained about? So there's this story that an ice cream van is being investigated over claims his van chimes are too loud. because the neighbours have been complaining that they're being disturbed by the ice cream van coming down the street.
I mean, the job that I was just doing, a guy complained numerous times that there was nothing on the BBC iPlayer but repeats, even though that's the point of the it's an on-demand service.
I have something to complain about.
Go ahead.
I'm going to show you a photograph. This is a drink that I bought yesterday, and you've probably seen this already. So for people who aren't watching the video podcast, the bottles of that was a Fanta lemon, and the cap now, you can't unscrew the cap fully. You unscrew it and you kind of loosen it, and then it flips open. If that's
Right.
the best way to explain it. So you can't fully take the top off.
But
Did
surely
you ever hear just break that off, Pistol?
Oh, well, you can't. No, but it takes more than an effort to actually break it off. But it's like sturdy plastic where you turn it, then you flip it open, and then you can put it's meant to be so you don't lose the cap, so you can put the cap back on and screw it back on again.
But you see, this is environmentalists and environmentalists going mad. And this is all part of, so you don't throw the cap away and throw the bottle away separately, or possibly reuse the bottle, that you can keep the cap on it and reuse it. So that's all part of that. But see that, strip it off.
I know, but it's just the fact that it is
But
not.
it gets right up
made
your
to be a thing.
bloody nose.
It is, yeah.
Because
It
you're
is.
trying to hold that open and get the thing into your gob.
Yep.
And most of it's spilling out of your gob because that's catching you in the bloody nose.
Have you tried?
Simple way out of it, Pistol. Simple way out of it.
Yeah.
What way is the simple way out of it?
Don't buy it.
Buy a tin.
Buy a tin. Would you put a straw in a tin?
No. Well, that's another.
Yeah, I don't even lick like envelopes. Or I had a story about there was a girl who drunk out of a Fanta tin, and she got like all these like ulcers around her mouth. And apparently, it's found to be rat piss all over the.
Yeah. And in my fire brigade days, we got a call to a restaurant, and those packs of tins were sitting out the back, and the rats were running all over them. And the next thing, then those tins are put in the fridge and handed out to you, right?
Yeah.
Did you see the story too yesterday about the boy that swallowed the snail?
No.
How do you swallow a
Well,
snail?
it wasn't a snail; it was a slug. It was a slug, right?
Oh, it makes me sick.
Of course, they were out drinking, and they weren't drinking non-alcoholic beer, or probably wouldn't have done it. But they bet this guy, this slug was crawling across the floor or something, and they bet this guy would he swallow it, and he did, right? And he swallowed this thing whole live. Well, of course, the thing had some sort of parasite on it,
Oh,
right? And this parasite then developed in the boy's stomach, right? And manifested itself.
good.
Not for him. Manifested itself and grew and multiplied and did whatever else. And it turned out then that the bloke lost his legs.
Oh wow.
Flip.
Where are you consuming your news?
Popped up in my feed.
Were you talking about snails again?
Did I ever tell you the story about the time? It stopped me if I have told this story, but I don't think I have. There was a period when I was
Anyway, moving on.
there was a period during my college years when I lived a couple of days a week with my granny, and she only ever drank tea. She didn't like coffee. So I would come up every like Sunday night and bring a jar of coffee with me. And one night she called me in for dinner, and she'd made a lovely roast chicken dinner.
What you gonna say?
I took a bite into it, and I was like, "Ah," and then I watched her take her first mouthful, and she went, "Ah," and I said, "What? What did you put on that? Like what gravy did you put on that?" And she goes, "I used that gravy you brought up.
Oh, Christ.
It was Nescafe." So she had to, like, all that love and attention and all that food, all scraped into the bin, and then we had ham sandwiches.
You know what? That reminds me too of a funny story. I was entertaining a young lady here one night, and it was a really cold winter's night. And she says to me, "Would you like a hot whiskey?" I said, "Yeah, it'd be lovely. Let's have a couple of hot whiskies." So she's in the cupboard, and not knowing my house here, knowing where everything is. Anyway, found the whiskey, boils the kettle, makes the whiskey, hands it over to me anyway, and I'm sitting drinking this whiskey. It was absolutely gross, right? But to be polite and to try and be the nice chap that I am, I drank away at it and drank away at it. And I could see then that she was drinking at it as well and not trying to make it look like how bad it was, right? So I'm drinking at it anyway. I said, how you go? She says, well, we'll have another one. I said, no, 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 no. I'm grand. I'm grand. I said, but I'll tell you what, would you like another one? Oh, yes, I'll have one. All right, okay. So I said, well, sure, I'll make it this time. So I went up and I made it. And what had happened was in the cupboard, I had a bag of sugar beside a bag of salt.
Oh.
I should put the salt in as the sugar.
And what? So, forgive my you put sugar into whiskey.
Into
When,
hot whiskey.
when you boil it, I think you have to do that. Yeah.
I've never didn't know that. Right? Okay.
You put a spoonful of sugar in a hot whiskey with cloves and lemon.
No, I would just drink a hot whiskey. I would never know to put sugar into it. Yeah.
But that's the what?
I
You
thought
just
there was,
heat the whiskey and don't put the sugar in it.
I would never have it as like I would have it if it was bunged up or if I had a cold or something. But yeah,
But you'd never put sugar in a hot whiskey.
no, just hot water.
Wow.
I find it can be sweet enough, depending on what whiskey you get.
And does it work when you're sick? Does it actually work?
It'll clear you out, or it'll.
Placebo.
It's a bit soothing, but yeah, I usually ruin it and mix it with a soft drink.
Do you know what I swear by? Now let me get the name right. Echinacea, is that right? Echinacea. It's a herbal. It's like a herbal tablet you take when you feel a cold coming on, and it works.
Look, I don't know. Funny, I was in the other day riding off in that Holland Barrett and I bought this buy one, get one free carry on of vitamin B12 and vitamin D. Now, vitamin D allegedly is for, lack of sunshine and all this because you get it from sunshine. And I would suffer in the winter from that SAD syndrome due to lack of sunshine. So that's why I would tend to take myself off in the winter for 3 or 4 or 5 months to a sunny climate, which I'm able to do being, sort of semi-retired and all that.
I don't take any vitamins. Is that a problem?
It shows. But anyway, what the issue is, right? I take one of those every morning, that B and D, and I feel no different.
Have you ever tried an E?
Those do work quite quickly.
That'll take you out of your winter blues.
Yeah. And I tell you what works better, but you need a wee bit of response, a V.
Oh,
Go.
Yeah. That's blood pressure problems right through the day.
Yeah.
That's palpitation problems.
Speaking of our body, right? I was looking at
Now, careful.
I was looking at a full body MOT. Right?
Oh.
Now they're expensive,
How
but
much?
have you ever had one?
No.
Well, this one I was looking at was £295.
And what did that include, Pistol?
Let me get it up here.
Right?
Right here, and tell me if this is worth it then, right? So it gives you all your personal measurements and all, like your weight and all the rest of it, pulse and all the rest. That's just standard. Full blood count, iron status, gives your heart health, cholesterol, all these different things that I can't even pronounce. Everything to do with your heart, your diabetes health, and it will tell you if you're allergic to certain things as well.
And what if it's bad news, Pistol?
Well, it's bad news. I think you have to cope with it. It's better to know. I would love to know. I think I am. I think I am wheat intolerant because my mum is, and I the only reason why I haven't tested is it's a very hard diet to do.
Are you heading down the celiac route?
Which she is. Well, my mum is, and I'm convinced I am too.
Well,
But it's impossible. It's impossible. She's a separate cupboard in the kitchen.
Yeah, my good friend is Banford, and is a celiac, and it's just chronic. Even going out to a restaurant to try and get food gluten free and celiac free, and even to buy in the shop gluten free bread or try to get celiac free stuff. It's
have you ever tried gluten free bread?
Oh, it's disaster.
Oh my god! It's like eating cardboard.
Cardboard, just pure. It's way more expensive than everything else. But if you go out, say, and on the menus, the house burger, can you do that gluten free? Yeah, we're gonna take away the bap. What?
Yeah,
so you get the burger bit without the bap. They just don't cope for it. But that celiac thing for you, and I'm talking from experience, and Banford will know who I'm talking about, and you should too, Pistol. The hassle that girl goes through to try and get anything at a restaurant
yeah.
or even
And
like
even drinks.
gluten-free
Like,
beer.
yeah,
Yeah,
beer.
even
Yeah.
can't get it. Can't
Mhm.
can't take
That's
it.
what I'm saying. Her diet is so restricted due to
Yeah.
this condition. She has no choice but to knock back 12 Darkest Stories.
Yes, and they're gluten free.
Now, I have seen a gluten-free Peroni, I think. But again, when you're out, I would just prefer to turn the blind eye to it.
Peroni is the only one I've seen gluten free, and you can get it in
Mm,
Tesco's, right? But again, way more expensive than anything else.
yeah.
And I tried it one night myself, and again,
But can I
it's
ask a silly question? Is all this stuff, is this a new craze? Like, people have obviously always suffered from these sorts of conditions, but is there just more of them suffering? Like, I don't
I
know.
don't know.
No, but like 10
Mhm.
years ago, I hadn't heard of such a thing as gluten-free anything.
I think it's because people are not able to do those tests, and but like there is wee kits you can get sent out, to your house, and you do it yourself, and then you send them away and all. So it's easy done. But it's just the thought of having to, even if you go into a takeaway, you have to say, "Oh, is that cooked in that pot?" Because if is that cooked with other stuff that's gluten in it.
Wait until you receive the bowel test.
Well,
That'll fix you. Where you send
mm,
in a sample.
yeah. But do you think it's worth it? 295 £295 to find a
Absolutely not.
MOT of your whole body?
Absolutely not.
Do you
No.
know? Do you know what flashed up on my? I follow this person on Instagram, and they come up every single day with these like um, random jobs you can do from home. You know, and they'll bring in X amount of it's American, so X amount of dollars a day. And there was one she was advertising the other day where literally you provide a stool sample every day, and it's sent off to a lab, and you get like $50 a day. And I'm considering it. You
Nice.
got to
How do you post it?
they once you sign up, you send them one, and then they analyze it, and then if you pass and it has in it whatever they want or need, they then send you the posting kit every time.
But you know what
Just
would be a good idea? Send them dog shit and see what they come back with.
they come round and put you down. The white coach will be turning up. Hey, I've just remembered something. I I remember going to the doctors when I was about maybe 16, 17, and I had never given a sample before. So I went to give my first sample, and you go into the wee room, and it's the room beside the nurse's room. It has a wee like flap in the window, so you set your sample in the window. I filled the cup because I
Right?
assumed that they needed a cup amount
Uh-huh.
Of
instead of
what?
giving
Are you talking about semen?
pee. No, no, of pee. I'm not a horse.
Is it semen you're talking about? You filled the cup.
I can even see there that you completely zoned out and joined the conversation at the end.
Mm.
Oh my god.
Pee. I was given a pee sample, but
Oh,
I filled it up too much because I didn't know. I was only like 16, 17, so they didn't tell me, but we only just need a wee, give me like up to the first line of the cup. So I filled it, and it was so awkward, like her then grabbing the cup and like trying not to spill the piss all over the floor. And it was just such, it stayed in my head all, like those things should be just, you should be taught these things in school or something. See,
how to piss into a cup?
no, just, you could have at least told me, just need a
You,
wee bit.
you can't be the first person you've done that. She should have said, "Here's your thing, piss up to the line."
Exactly. Or
Yeah.
draw a line around the cup. Just give me a cup and say there you are. Fill that. So
Like
I
a
filled it.
challenge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I filled it, and then I could barely lift it under the window. Just my hand was shaking, trying to not spill any piss everywhere. My partner Kirsten was watching. Was it the last episode we were saying about you sleeping in your car, or maybe a few episodes ago? She actually brought up a valid point and said you need to get your car checked
What do you
for
mean? Check?
carbon monoxide if you keep falling asleep in your car.
No, it's because I'm tired. Sure, even what night was it? Last Friday night, I was DJing to 2 a.m. I came out of the venue at 2 a.m., got into the car, fell asleep until about 5:30. That's what I remember it said on the dial as I started the engine and the car. Drove home, got as far as here, parked the car, fell asleep in the car again until after 7.
That's an
And then
illness.
got up. It's because I'm tired.
That's an
Tired.
illness, though. There's being tired, and then there's falling asleep in your. Do you not wake up and your windows are all steamy?
No.
Not
No, but
for millions a year, pistol. Not for millions a year.
No, but if you're asleep in your car for 3 hours, there would be a
The back of the
Good
car's full of DJ gear.
Back in the day, pistol, that's the only choices we had.
yeah.
Curtain in the car, steamy up the windows.
after a house party, I took a young lady up towards Scrabo Tower, right?
Oh.
And I'd not long had a new car, and she was playing about with the functions. And she pressed something and flashed the lights twice, right?
Mhm.
And within minutes, she went, ah! And I looked out my window, and there was a fella in a trench coat over at the window because she'd flashed the lights.
That was Columbo.
One final thing, my wife loves
Yeah,
you.
keep an eye out.
What I've been itching to ask you, Pistol,
Mm.
throughout most of the duration of this episode.
Yep.
You talking about shaving your head, you talking about a full body MOT. Are
Mm.
you going through some sort of a crisis? Are you going to reinvent yourself like Madonna?
I don't know. I honestly believe that I have adult ADHD.
Well, come to terms with that. You don't shave your head.
Are you
No, but
going
you
to
just-
shave around your plums?
Why do you keep asking that question? Why are you obsessed with
Question.
No, that was the first thing you asked me when we went on. That's the last thing you asked me in the episode. I think it's good to just take everything away and restart. I need to let my skin breathe.
Huh?
God, I'm keen to see what way you turn up next week.
Yep. And the
You'll
nip.
you'll be like Patricia, and I'll be sitting here with a beef curry.
Mostly down his front.
Not down my front.
The only thing I'm afraid of, and it's tomorrow morning, the only thing I'm afraid of is that if I go too low too quick,
Yeah, you could cut off what you thought was a
you
hair.
can't stick it back on. No, I just mean you can't stick it. You can go.
But even a mutual friend of ours, Chris Armstrong, and a friend of mine, John Kerr. John is on his back telling him to shave his head. Shave your head. It'll take years off you.
Mhm.
It's more trendy, and Chris won't do it.
Now, do you know Dave Elliott, the comedian?
Yeah.
And he had a fair head of hair. And he did the same thing, just whipped it all off. He looks far better with it all off. And I'm thinking, because it doesn't always mean that you look older with a shaved head. You can reinvent yourself.
Paul, for as long as I've known you. Now, I've seen older photos where you're like Wayne Newton and you've got quite the bouffant. But, when did you make the decision? Was it a fire brigade thing? What?
Yeah. Fire brigade thing, yeah. You need it all covered in with a helmet, you see. Don't want any singeing. In hot environments, you wouldn't want any singeing.
At what point of your training are you told you need to get your hair? Imagine someone was quite like attached to their hair, and then they found out they need to lose it.
No, well, that was in my day. It was on entry. You had to. Your first day would have been a number 2.
Here's my final question. Oh, this is my final question. Do you ever, like the classic thing of firefighters is like saving cats from trees?
No,
You
that
ever
doesn't
see-
happen.
No, it does happen.
Look, under very extreme circumstances, that myth of turning out a cat up a tree and all that's
Look, I wanted a wee heartfelt story at the end of the podcast to
No,
say you
no,
went and
no,
you've
no,
saved
no.
a cat from a tree.
no. Those days are unless there's it's in distress or whatever the case may be. But you didn't turn out the cats up trees.
So would I be reported if I seen a cat up a tree?
They
and I phoned
wouldn't.
the fire brigade?
They wouldn't send anybody. They'd just say call us back maybe in a couple of hours if it's still there and that type of thing. But you wouldn't get an immediate response.
That's every children's book a complete lie. Then
Do you know what, though? I think there's a general, you might beg to differ, Paul, but I think there's a genuine respect and appreciation from the public for fire officers, whereas I think policemen are universally loathed.
when we first moved into this house and we got the oven fitted, it wasn't fitted properly, and there was smoke coming from the underneath the hob bit when I'd switched the oven off. So I didn't know what to do, so I had to phone the fire brigade. They were here in literally 3 minutes. It was the quickest response. Like I'd barely got off the phone and they were outside.
Yeah, but sure, you're just around the corner.
Those
Those boys, and to be honest, those boys are retained personnel as well, Pistol. So they
Does that
have to leave their place of work on a pager. They leave their place of work, go down, get into their kit, get the fire engine out, and they've got 5 minutes to get it out. So, and they're very quick in that part of that station. I've been in that station several times. They're very quick.
So what you're
Very
saying is
dedicated bunch.
I've disturbed someone's work for coming out, and
very, very dedicated bunch. So you were just around the corner. Did you make a cup of tea and all? Like a wee brew, you know, when
What,
you stuff like that.
do you know what? It was more embarrassment because it turned out with 2 fire engines, and I'm just thinking,
Well, that's
what if this is
we've got it as a house on fire. Yeah. By the way, just on a final note, I provided a fire service response for Banford the other day when I checked his smoking light and
oh
changed the bulb and all for him,
Well,
and
you see,
he just left the other one empty.
well, hold on. You see, well, you did change it, but you lifted one that's working. You lifted out of one area into another area, so I'm still left
Yeah.
with no light.
Oh,
But
is that my fault?
no. I'm just saying. But there is another one being delivered today, courtesy of the good folks of Amazon.
Oh,
So
good.
if you're free at some point and you fancy popping around, 'cause I'm too small.
Are you ordering a Chinese?
Not after that being dragged through the muck.
No, I don't think I don't think I could face that. Nom, 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 nom.
No, I think this podcast is a wee bit of a scud in a way because then last week, I promise this is the last story. Last week I was in the shower and I smelt fish.
I hate to tell you something, Peter. But go ahead.
Jesus.
So, and I was thinking, right, is it the toilet? Is it the drains? Is it me? Went through all of those, cancelled all those out. Was neither of those. It turned out to be the pool, the shower pool thing, right? Inside the cover, the wires had melted, and it was starting to burn the plastic. So the smell of, and then I looked it up. The electrical fires smell like fish.
Wow.
Apparently, if you smell fish in your house, it can relate to things melting or burning electrically.
I gotta be down
There's a wee lesson.
in Belfast for one.
See you next episode then.
Yes. Talk to you later.
Yes, and the listeners. Goodbye,
Okay.
listeners.
Goodbye.
Bye.